Hello, I'm Edgar Parnell. In this session, I outline the model of enterprise required to run successful co-ops and all other types of self-help enterprises. By successful, I mean that the enterprise achieves its purpose, carries out its true function, is viable, sustainable, serves its members, and remains under democratic control. SHEs need an enterprise model that is fit for purpose. This means a model that supports the delivery of what members want from their enterprise, which is a better deal, a better organization, that is to say, one that will always act in their best interests, and a better future. And all this while remaining viable, sustainable, and remaining under democratic member control. First, let me explain what I mean by an enterprise model. An enterprise model provides an outline of a form of enterprise, including its foundation practices, along with the essential systems and practices required to sustain them. The model also needs to explain the underlying logic of a form of enterprise. Crucially, it should provide leaders, managers, and all decision makers with a clear-cut framework to guide them in the day-to-day running of their enterprise. It's essential to differentiate between a business model and a model of enterprise. A business model is the plan implemented by a commercial business to generate revenue and make profit from its operations, whereas a model of enterprise outlines a specific form of enterprise, laying down its foundation practices along with the full raft of other practices critical to the overall system. All commercial businesses have the core purpose of making money for their owners, while cause-driven enterprises have the core purpose of supporting whatever cause is determined by the people controlling it. Co-ops and all other types of self-help enterprises must have a clearly defined strategic purpose, sometimes referred to as the core purpose. This is the reason why the enterprise was set up and the justification for its continuing existence. The core purpose of a co-op needs to describe, in broad terms, what changes in the market the enterprise seeks to secure in the best interest of its members. For example, for producers to get fair prices and reach new markets for their produce. For consumers, food co-ops, for example, to get healthy and sustainable foodstuffs at fair prices. And for those in need of more ethical financial services to secure terms for savings and loans that are both fair and reasonable. To help your understanding of this concept, try to imagine what could be the core purpose of other different co-ops and other self-help enterprises. I will now briefly describe the key elements of the co-op stroke self-help enterprise model, starting with the fact that the model must be rooted in the practice of self-help and mutual action. This means people working together in their joint best interest. Next, the enterprise must be driven by its purpose. I have already mentioned the importance of establishing the core purpose of an enterprise. Everybody involved in the enterprise must clearly understand the purpose of their enterprise. The enterprise must be fully focused on its function, which in the case of co-ops and all other types of SHEs is to intervene in a market in the best interests of its members. In order to carry out its function, the enterprise must have a viable market intervention strategy. Many of the factors that prevent us from living more fulfilling lives surface when we are unable to exercise enough power in the markets we rely upon for our economic well-being. Our vulnerability to these market forces that work against us becomes apparent when we cannot access those goods or services that we need on terms that are both fair and reasonable. The same kind of problems arise when we cannot get a fair price for our labour, knowledge and skills, or for the things we produce, grow or supply. Co-ops and other SHEs provide the mechanism to confront injustices within the market. An enterprise's market intervention strategy needs to be creative and disruptive to benefit its members. Simply copying what exists in the market already is unlikely to bring about the change in the market that members need. Please see the video Market Intervention Strategies, which outlines how to set about developing a market intervention strategy. SHEs need to implement a set of very specific systems which must be both dynamic and complete. These are the systems that are unique to their enterprise model. The main systems are those for organization, association, economics, and management. The system of organization comprises several essential subsystems, including the foundations of the organization, the governance system, the oversight system, and the culture system. These are all human systems. If you have not already viewed the video, The Power of Human Systems, then see it as soon as you can so that you appreciate the importance of human systems in SHEs. The system of association in co-ops and in all other SHEs is fundamentally different from those of companies, which are associations of capital, whereas SHEs are associations of equal persons. This requires the application of subsystems. These include those for membership, member development, ownership, democratic control, and leadership development. The system of economics calls for adherence to a set of 10 interdependent practices. These include being self-sustaining within the market. The form of ownership is that of beneficial and mutual ownership. The independence of the enterprise is secured by deploying only benign sources of finance and by operating only in locations that best serve the membership. Maintaining equitable relationships between all members and all other stakeholders, not engaging in speculation for profit. All transactions are to be conducted with honesty and integrity, and economies of scale are achieved whilst maintaining meaningful democratic control by the membership. All the practices required are explained in the video Understanding the Self-Help Economic System. The objective of the management system is to ensure that the enterprise achieves its purpose and optimizes all resources deployed, while the process of management in all forms of enterprise is broadly the same. Within co-ops and other types of SHEs, much of the management system should be fundamentally different from that used in commercial businesses. Within the management system, many subsystems are needed. Here, the emphasis is on those systems that implement and support the foundations of the self-help model of enterprise. All the elements and systems that comprise this model of enterprise need to have an inbuilt mechanism that provides for their systematic review and renewal. This diagram summarizes the self-help enterprise model. People not conversant with this model of enterprise often struggle to grasp the essentials because many of the most critical practices may seem to fly in the face of everything that they have previously learned about enterprises, especially when their training and experience has been limited to commercial businesses. However, they can be even more confused if they have only had experience of working in co-ops that are still called co-ops, even though they are no longer authentic self-help enterprises. Properly understanding this model of enterprise is essential to the successful running of all types of self-help enterprises. In the next video in this series, I outline the system of organization that is required in SHEs, and I explain the significance of the foundation practices needed in this form of enterprise. Please check out my website, Co-oppundit.org, for more information. All of the explanations and details of the practices required to implement the self-help enterprise model of enterprise are set out in my book, Enterprises That Change Lives. Please visit Co-oppundit.org to get this book, or find it on the Amazon Books website. You can download a copy of this important book from as little as UK pounds £2.99 or US dollars $3.99, or get a paperback version mailed to you in many different countries. Thanks for watching. I look forward to you joining me for another video session soon.